Independence is a state of mind. This was the slogan that Raymond Weil used when they launched this unapologetically charismatic Nabucco model. This is a Swiss-made chronograph which is already interesting, but it's not just the functionality, but rather the distinctive blend of functionality and design that makes this watch unique. Hello and welcome to the channel. If you subscribed, thank you and very warm welcome back. And if you haven't subscribed yet, well, it's never too late. We talk about watches and review watches on this channel, so do join us by hitting the big red subscribe button. Raymond Weil was always firmly on my radar as a solid entry luxury Swiss watch brand. Almost 45 years later, after it was founded in 1976, it is still independently owned and operated, providing a very solid alternative to Swiss brands that have been consolidated over the years, like Swatch Group brands, for example. So, when our friend Chris kindly agreed for me to review his watch on this channel, I couldn't miss the opportunity, and this is Chris's daily watch, and when I say daily, I mean it. I know Chris for a few years now, and I cannot remember a time I haven't seen him wearing this watch. As we can see by the scuffs and scratches on this watch, he does not baby it, and this watch goes pretty much everywhere with him. So, big thank you to Chris, and he might not say it, but he is most likely missing it already, so by the time you watch this video, this Nabucco chronograph will be on its way back to reunite with its owner. Okay, I usually talk about the price first to establish the context, so to speak. Well, at the point of introduction around 2007, this Nabucco 7800 chronograph was retailing for around $3,000 to $4,000. Now, more than 10 years later, it is still priced about the same. However, of course, there are always ways to find it online for more competitive prices. As a matter of fact, Joma Shop has it priced at around $1,800. It is out of stock at the moment, but there are other Raymond Weil models priced very sharply, like for example a Freelancer model line, which is very popular as well, so do check them out. Back to this watch, it might give a very industrial kind of appearance, however, the inspiration and the name comes from music, or opera to be precise, opera by Giuseppe Verdi Nabucco. Raymond Weil in general had pushed its strong affiliation with music and performance art, and it is reflected pretty much in most of their model lines like Maestro, Don Giovanni or Tango. Raymond Weil maintained this Nabucco model line for more than 10 years, and there are a lot of them still for sale. However, I couldn't find any of this model in their current lineup, and there is not a lot of information about it either, so if you are in the know of what is happening to this Nabucco line, please let us know in the comments. Dimensions. Well, no point of beating around the bush, this is a big watch. How big? Well, just over 46mm in diameter big. We have 23mm lugs. Might sound a bit unusual, however, it does follow tried and tested proportion formula, whereby lugs are about half of the watch diameter. The height of the watch is 15.7mm, lug tip to lug tip is about 57mm. The only saving grace here is the inverted end links that allow for the bracelet to fall freely around the wrist, but even then, my guess, unless you are really comfortable with big watches, one will need at least 7¼ wrist or 18.5cm to wear this watch comfortably. Having said that, I wore it on my about 7-inch wrist for a few hours while preparing for this review, and strangely enough, after about 20 or 30 minutes, I found myself quite okay with the size of this watch. I guess the key here is the weight and the balance, and we will look into it in more detail in a moment. The bracelet is constructed out of titanium and stainless steel and is adjusted to about 7.5-inch wrist. On this bracelet, the watch weighs 202 grams. The bracelet tapers down towards the clasp, but not by much, to about 20.5mm, and will have a butterfly clasp. Because of the chunky bracelet and because of the blend of titanium and stainless steel materials in construction of this watch, the watch is actually not particularly top-heavy and is quite well balanced on the wrist, and that's what I think explains why it is actually comfortable to wear. Also, taking into account that Raymond Weil left at least 5 links here that still can be removed, totaling about 1.5 inch, in theory, someone with 6-inch wrist could wear this watch, and I mean in theory. Dial. The dial is very interesting. It does look a bit busy, however, I think this watch just kind of gets away with this due to so much space on the dial. We have a grayish background with kind of brick waffle pattern and with a minute chaptering printed around the perimeter. All other parts are in one way or another applied, giving the dial a nice three-dimensional character. We have applied indices, applied outline of the chronograph subdials, and the logo is on the applied strip as well. The subdials are slightly recessed, again adding to the three-dimensional look. The subdial at 9 o'clock is normal running seconds, and subdials at 3 and 6 o'clock are the chronograph minute and hour registers respectively. We have a round date window at 4:30 position. The pusher at 10 o'clock is used to quick set the date. We have dark blue hands everywhere on the main dial and subdials. Overall, the dial is very legible, not least thanks to that nice and flat sapphire crystal with tons of anti-reflective coating. There is lume on the hour indices and the minute and hour hands. It is okay. It is technically not a diver's watch, so Raymond Weil could get away with it. However, I guess a stronger lume at this price point would be more appropriate. Moving on to the case, Raymond Weil used a combination of titanium and stainless steel here. Both materials have slightly different hardness and color, and I think they did a really good job. We can like the case or dislike it for its size or bold bulkiness, however, it is hard to say that it is boring. There are different planes and finishings on top and on the flanks of the case. We have a fixed polished bezel with a tachymeter scale, or at least I think it was polished. As we can see, it looks like the bezel took the most of the knocks and bumps during the lifetime of this watch. We have a well-proportioned screw-down crown with a Raymond Weil logo. The crown is protected by the crown guards, and we have 3 screw-down pushers, 2 to operate the chronograph and 1 for the date quick set. Again, I like the case design. It looks like a lot of thought went into it. Moving on to the back of the case, we have a screw-on back case with Raymond Weil logo on it, as expected, and some basic specs. Now, with all the prominent case design and watertight screw-down pushers and a crown, we get 200 meters of water resistance, which makes this watch, of course, suitable for swimming and even some recreational diving. Movement. This watch uses a Swiss ETA Valjoux 7753 movement. It is a high-beat movement beating at 28,800 vibrations per hour. It hacks, hand winds, and has about 48 hours of power reserve. It is a very popular chronograph movement used by other brands like Breitling, Tag Heuer and IWC, to name a few. Bracelet. The bracelet is made out of a combination of stainless steel and titanium, which is the same as the case of this watch. It is quite robust, solid link, solid end link bracelet. It is bulky, but then again it needs to be in proportion with the prominent 46mm case of this watch. But just to give you an idea, the links closer to the head of the watch are just over 5mm wide. We have a butterfly clasp, which is probably the only reasonable option on such a bracelet to keep the profile of the clasp and the bracelet reasonably thin. Of course, that means that we don't have macro adjustments, however, looks like Raymond Weil supplied half links. As we can see, one is actually used here, so it is possible to adjust the bracelet with some degree of accuracy to your wrist. Okay, the good, the bad, and well, right. For starters, I would like to point out that this watch has been a trusted daily companion for probably close to 10 years now and is still going strong. Just that, in my opinion, deserves some kudo points already. In terms of what could have possibly been done better on it, well, most likely a bit stronger lume wouldn't hurt. Other than that, it is probably more about the style, and if this style of watch is your cup of tea, it is hard to find an alternative that wouldn't cost you at least 2 to 3 times as much. And I'm talking about brands like Panerai or IWC or Breitling, which coincidentally use exactly the same chronograph movement in most of their chronographs. So, here you have it. What are your thoughts about it? Please let us know in the comments. And of course, if you find this review helpful, smash that like button and subscribe if you haven't already done so. And as always, thank you for watching, take care, and I'll see you in the next one.